Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's me, Jong. I'm a hobbyist photographer and videographer. And if you are anything like me, you've already seen 16 million videos about R5 and R6 unboxing. So in this video, I'm just gonna do a little bit of that because I'm very excited. I've been waiting for my unit for 2 months now. So without further ado, let's unbox this motherfucker. So the Canon EOS R came just in the nick of time. I have an engagement shoot tomorrow with RJ and Armstrong out in Flushing Meadows Park in Queens. And it's a perfect opportunity for me to share how I pack for an engagement shoot. An engagement shoot is quite different because you have a little bit of time to set up and direct the subjects. This way I can bring a little bit more gear than what I would normally bring in a wedding, because in a wedding, everything needs to be on you. You have to have it ready at all times. You have to have options at all times. So it needs to be like as easily accessible so that you can capture that moment real quick. So because in an engagement shoot, I have a little bit more time to direct, I can be more purposeful in terms of the gear that I could bring. I can bring a couple of more extra lenses that I wouldn't normally bring in a shoot. So I'm recording this video now on the Canon EOS R with the 24-14L. I'm a prime shooter, particularly in engagement shoots or shoots that I can plan it out. I want the widest range of primes that I could get, plus a couple of specialized lenses because I do have some shots in mind that I want to try out. The 24-1.4L will definitely be in the bag. The Canon EOS R that I'm shooting on right now is going to be my backup body. I won't be dual wielding in engagement shoots because, you know, one camera will be more than enough. But the main body in this particular shoot is the Canon EOS R6. So came in time. I put the battery grip on it because I do like shooting portraits, and this just makes it a little bit more easy for me to get the portrait that I like, the orientation that I like. I also like some heft whenever I'm shooting photographs. So this is a good balance between bulk, a little bit of intimidation factor, but it's still very slim and very compact. It's not like the 1DX Mark IIs that are giant tanks. So this is going to be the main body for this particular shoot. Right now I have the 15-35 on it. This won't be used a lot. I do this more for videos and vlogs and just regular run and gun shoots. But because I want the subject to be, you know, a little bit closer to the shot, I want them to be a little bit more emphasized in the shot. So the main zoom that I might be bringing will be the 24-70 out. So let's bring that out. 24-70 2.8 version 2 is going to be paired with R6 for the most part of the shoot. This is going to be the generalist. But on occasion, what I usually do is get something a little funky. So we have the 24L as the wide prime. I'm gonna throw in the 35, just, you know, not too wide, but not necessarily mid-range as well. I don't think this is gonna be used a lot, but I always like throwing in the 35 because I just find it a little bit easier to focus with the 35. It's a little bit more attuned to my particular eye. So this is more of a safety lens, not necessarily something that I will have a particular shot in mind. Of course, the 50 1.2L definitely in the bag. If you have a 1.2, just put it in your bag. Any 1.2 lens should always be in any directed shot that you're gonna do. Get that shallow depth of field shot. It makes any uninteresting background somewhat interesting because it kind of blurs it out, gives a little bit more of mystery, particularly if you're not familiar with the place. So maybe a blank lot or an unkempt field becomes a little bit more artistic and dramatic when it's a little bit more blurred and you can't see all of the details. So if you have 1.2, just put it on there. Speaking of 1.2, of course, we're bringing the 85 1.2. The 85 1.2 is definitely the standard prime telephoto that you could bring. The shallow depth of field along with the compression of the 85mm focal length is just going to be great if you can stand back or if you can be farther from your subject. This is always going to be in all of my shoots because I know if I had the space, like a full body 85 1.2 shot is going to be very, very dramatic. And if I don't have a lot of space, this crop for portrait is quite perfect. So 85 1.2, one of my favorites. So here are a couple of specialized lenses that I'm going to bring just for this particular shoot. First, quite possibly the best portrait lens that you could get, but also one of the most difficult to bring and wield. So I have the Sigma 105 1.4. That length, the 105mm focal length, as well as the 1.2 aperture, the compression and the depth of field, if you could use it, if you have enough space, and if you have a camera like the Canon EOS R6 or R6 with very, very good eye autofocus tracking, this is going to be an amazing, amazing lens. I don't bring this a lot because look at this monster. It is big. It is heavy. It takes up a lot of space in your bag, and if you're going to walk around in different locations, this tends to break your back as well. But for this particular shoot, because I know that this is, two wonderful, wonderful people. It's not going to be the whole day. It's probably like 2-3 hours. I can power through 2 to 3 hours. So we're bringing in the big guns. We're bringing in the 105. And finally, the lens that I am, I've never used before, but I have some shots in mind of having an ultra wide shot, but with a very, very shallow depth of field. One of the new lenses that I got is the Sigma 14-1.8. So the 14-1.8 is mostly for landscapes or astrophotography, but extremely close up the subject and having an interesting background, we can see that wide focal length as well with a little bit of shallow depth of field to keep your focus on your subjects. This could be an interesting lens to have. I cannot recommend it yet because I have not shot this enough, but tomorrow is going to be the day where I am going to play around a lot with a 14-1.8. I think used properly, it's going to be extremely unique with that wide, focal length and shallow depth of field, but it could also look cartoony and caricaturish. So let's see what's going to happen tomorrow. Of course, we're bringing extra batteries and extra cards. You should always do that in any shoot anyway. So we're going to skip that. But something that, I don't bring a flash. I don't bring speed lights. I don't bring strobes. I like all my shots to be all natural light. I try to keep my aperture as wide as possible as well. That's just how I shoot. I just find it difficult to bring stands and strobes and triggers if I'm going to do a shoot all by myself. Again, I'm a solo shooter. I'm just a hobbyist. So I've just developed my style to be primes, shallow depth of field, a little bit cinematic, a little bit dramatic. So that's kind of my style. So that's all we're going to bring tomorrow. Let's see how I pack it in my Peter McKinnon camera backpack. Right after a couple of more minutes of finagling, here are all the things that we're able to pack in my Peter McKinnon camera backpack. I want to put all the stuff that I won't be using right near the top because I'm right-handed. When I set it down, I'm going to grab it from here. Set up for quick shoot warming up. We have the Canon EOS R6 with 24-70 right smack in the camera pouch. And then I try to organize stuff by focal length. So Trinity, 24, 50, 85, and then 35 I won't be using a lot. In this slot, I will be dropping in the Canon EOS R as my backup camera. Lume Cube lights, just in case there's too much light and I need to fill certain things. I don't typically use this. And the 105 and 14 will be up top here. Maybe we'll use it, maybe we won't, but that'll be there. We have the Prism Lens Effects filter. So I have this streak. I have the split diopter. We have the blue flares as well. Might try to do a little bit more in-camera artistic kind of stuff since we're out in the park. And of course, we will be bringing as many SD cards as we can, but I try not to fill them all. So probably bring maybe 3 or 4, including the ones in the cameras. And we'll be bringing a couple of extra batteries. And that's it. That will be our setup for tomorrow. Oh, and I forgot, in this slot, this is where I'll bring a black rapid strap for the cameras. I try not to use straps anymore. I try to always hold them in my hand so I can whip them out and shoot. Just in case we do have a little bit of space here, and I'll put the strap here. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing what I packed in my shoots. I know this might be a little bit of an overkill, but I do try to have a specific shot in mind for every lens that I bring. I'm gonna put myself accountable. Every lens should be used tomorrow. There should be one particular specific shot for it that has a unique look. So we have a varied set of engagement photos for RJ and Armstrong. In a few weeks, I'll be sharing those shots and you can let me know what you guys think. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, let's discuss in the comments, and let's all be friends. Peace.